Hello everyone, in this tutorial we will program a simple first-person shooter camera to our cube from the previous tutorial. We will be able to look up, look down, and look left and right, and if we move, the cube will move to the direction we're pointing at. Okay, let's start programming. Alright, we'll continue where we left off. Before we begin, I want to point out something. In the previous tutorial, I mentioned that you can initialize our speed variable here in start. But this will overwrite this value when you specify a different value before the game start. If you give 20 as a value and when you press start the game, I'll maximize it. When you start the game, it will override as 10. So it's a better idea to initialize this when we declare the variable, and we can just delete the start method. We don't need it for this script. Alright, before we begin, I want to make this project folder more organized. I'm going to create folders for each type of files. Let's create a folder and name it scripts. And let's create another folder for materials. And we can just drag and drop materials to materials and scripts to scripts. All right, this is much better for me. All right, then let's enter scripts folder and create another script, C# script, and name it camera control. And we're going to assign the script to our main camera. Drag and drop while you select the main camera, and let's double click. All right, so as before, we need the transform components. We will call rotate method. Let's test it by giving a vector3 value. Let's give 1 have to x, 0 and 0 to y and z. Let's return. Let's select camera and hit play, and as you see, it will rotate around x-axis here. And just like we mentioned before, we need to multiply it time.delta time so that the rotation will occur once per second. And if we test it again, so this is the normal speed. So to look down and up, we need to rotate around x-axis, and to look left and right, then we need to rotate around y-axis here. Let me show you. Let's copy this, give this 0, and let's move it to y-axis, and let's start, and as you see, rotate to right, and if you give a negative, make it -1, it will turn to the opposite direction, which is left. All right, so rather than giving 1f and -1f, we're going to take an input from the mouse, and that input is We're going to call the inputs class again, get axis, and if you look at the edit, project settings, input, and axis, you're going to see there is two axes here, mouse X and mouse Y. These are for now moving the mouse at, you know, Y direction, which is this, and moving the mouse in X direction, which is like that. Side by side, up and down. So to turn side by side, we need to detect the mouse X input, and I can explain to you by, you know, hit Alt, and by moving the mouse, clicking and moving the mouse, you can change the perspective. And as you see, the X axis is this, and the Y axis is this axis. If we want to turn left and right, left or right, we're going to make a move in the mouse parallel to X axis, like that, like that. But this means rotating around Y axis. We are moving the mouse in X direction, X axis direction, but to rotate to left or right, you are going to give this value to Y axis because you're rotating around Y. All right, that's why we are going to give mouse X to there. And let's test it. All right, as you see, if you move your mouse to left or right, it will turn left and right. Right, this is too slow, right? So to increase sensitivity, we can add a variable, float variable, name sensitivity, or you can name it mouse sensitivity, make capital, and we can give 100F value. We're going to multiply it. All right, let's test this. Oh, there we go. And just like Y-axis, we want to rotate around X-axis to look up and down. We are going to give the same value, but we're going to detect Y-axis movements from the mouse. And as you see, yeah. So what we did there, we combined the rotation, rotating around X-axis and Y-axis in the same time. So this will cause an issue. Like if you, swirl your mouse around like that. And let's, choose camera here. Let me just repeat what I do. All right. Looks good, but as you like this, the camera will start to headstand. This is not something we want. So to overcome this issue, we are going to rotate the player and camera separately. For up and down rotation, we are going to rotate camera. For left and right rotation, we are going to rotate the player. So we are going to declare a variable named game object variable named player, right? And we can delete this start method here. We don't need it for this script. We can also delete the comment here. Let's save it. All right, we are going to rotate the camera up and down. So we'll leave it this value here, but we are going to give 0 to Y direction, to Y axis. Let's copy this and give 0. For left and right rotation, we are going to select our player, reach its transform component, and call the rotate method, and we assign the Y value rotate function. Let's save, return to Unity. Let's test it. So as you see, up and down, the camera looks up and down, but the player doesn't move at all. And you might notice this error here. It says unassigned reference exception. This occurs because we declared a public game object variable, but we didn't assign any game object to it. For that, we need to select our player, drag it, and drop it to this box. And now let's clear this error. And now if we play, as you see, player will move also. And the camera working. But this is not totally a first-person shooter camera, all right? The camera is basically the player's eyes, right? So when the player returns to left and right, the camera must also turn left and right, but we are handling the rotation separately. But if we want to turn the camera also when the player rotates left and right, we are going to make the camera a child to player object. If we play now, you're going to see that our camera also rotates around our game object. And the issue that occurred when we did a combined rotation doesn't occur. Okay. When we make the camera a child to player component, if we reset the camera's position, it'll snap into the parent object's center. See, it didn't centered in here. It's centered to the parent's center. Okay, let's test it. And now it's a truly first-person shooter camera. Okay. Alright, in this video we programmed a simple first-person shooter camera. I hope that you liked this video, and I'll see you on my next videos. Until then, I wish you a happy new year, and goodbye.